You're a scholar trapped in a businessman's body.
Well, I've done both. I took early retirement at 50 to become a full-time writer.
Okay. The book, The Difficulty of Being Good, on the Subtle Art of Dharma, how did the idea for the book come about? Because your previous book was India Unbound, which is,
Well, in India Unbound, I predicted the economic rise of India. And if I were that kind of person, I would be saying today, I told you so. Because India really has risen. And when I wrote the book, people thought I was smoking. I think the economic problem of India is going to be solved. India will turn into a middle-class country in the next generation. And so the issue, that's the good news. The bad news is that all this is happening in the midst of the most appalling governance. And by bad governance, I don't mean a minister who's caught with a bribe. I'm talking about how governance affects the ordinary person. The fact that 1 out of 4 school teachers in a government primary school does not show up, and 1 out of 4 who shows up is not teaching. So half the 3.7 million government primary school teachers, half of them are not doing their job. At a time when the school teacher's salary has risen to 22,000 rupees per month, which is 7 times India's per capita income, when the norm in the world for a primary school teacher is 1 to 2 times per capita income.
Where did you get the numbers that it is, for...
There's an article written in the Economic and Political Weekly which compared 20 countries' school teacher salaries to the per capita income of their country.
That got you thinking that this notion of governance, it's not just not just in the political realm.
That's right.
But in the overall.
That's right. Governance is at all levels, and the fact is that there is governance failure has 2 dimensions. One is the dimension of the institution. If you could fire one school teacher for not showing up, all the millions of school teachers would show up the next day. But it also has a moral dimension, that if they showed up, would they teach with inspiration, saying that I'm preparing the next generation, that dharma, teaching is my dharma. So that's the moral dimension. And that's why I went to the Mahabharata. Now you'd say this is a pretty bizarre decision to go to perhaps the most violent, amoral epic of the world, in which there's a war, in which everybody dies in the war. Why go to that? Well, I'll tell you why. The reason is this, that one, it's unique in engaging with the world of politics. Second, the Mahabharata is obsessed with dharma. Now, dharma can mean many things. It can mean law, it can mean duty, it can mean righteousness, virtue. But essentially, it means doing the right thing.
So the connotations of that word changes depending on the context.
Well, yes, it does. It does change in the way of the context. But essentially, when we use it, it does not mean religion in classical India. The use of the word religion for dharma is a very modern. It was first used like that in the 19th century when the British missionaries came to Bengal and they told the peasants of Bengal that the only true dharma is that of Jesus Christ. So and then the Hindus retorted by saying, no, ours is the Sanatan Dharma, the one that is eternal. So this dharma in the Mahabharata is a pragmatic idea, and therefore it is in today's world a lot more suited for policymakers because it doesn't see moral perfection. And secondly, nobody in the Mahabharata says, let's ask God. You see, in the Christian tradition, you have the commandments, and in the Mahabharata you're left to your own devices, and you have to figure it out yourself. And when you have to figure it out yourself, that actually improves your moral reasoning. My book is one man's search for Dharma in the 21st century. And Dharma is to be understood as essentially moral success and moral failure. And so, how do I go about it? Connecting Dharma with governance, with the characters of the Mahabharata.